You ever look in the mirror and feel like you're stuck in a life you didn't choose? Like you're doing all the right things, showing up, checking the boxes, playing the game, but deep down, you're not really living. You're surviving. You scroll through social media and see people winning, building, thriving, and all you can think is, why not me? You tell yourself you'll start next week, that things will change when you're less busy, when you're more ready, when life gets easier. But deep down, you already know the truth. Next week turns into next month, and next month becomes next year. You're not lazy. You're not broken. You're tired. Tired of pretending you're okay. Tired of being the strong one. Tired of watching life move on without you while you sit quietly on the sidelines. And the worst part? You've convinced yourself this is normal. That this is just how it is for people like you. People who carry too much, feel too deeply, and still wake up every day hoping something thinking might finally shift. Let's be honest. You've been here before. Maybe last year, maybe 5 years ago. You made a plan. You wrote it down. You got excited. You promised yourself this time would be different. But then life got loud. Bills showed up. People let you down. Doubt crept in. And slowly, that fire inside you, the one that burned with purpose and hunger dimmed into a flicker. Now you find yourself here again, standing on the edge of change, unsure whether to take the leap or play it safe. But what if I told you that the one thing holding you back isn't outside of you? It's not the job. It's not your past. It's not even the people around you. It's something far more quiet, far more dangerous. And it lives in your daily routine. This podcast isn't here to hype you up with shallow motivation. This is real talk, the kind that makes you uncomfortable because it's the truth you've been trying to avoid. Today, we're not talking about 10 steps or morning routines or success formulas. We're going to talk about one habit. Just one. One simple but brutal habit that's keeping you exactly where you are. And the moment you fix it, really fix it, everything changes. You won't need a new year. You won't need a breakthrough. You'll become the breakthrough. So if you're done settling, if you're tired of the noise in your head and the weight in your chest, then keep listening. Because this might just be the moment your life pivots. Quietly. Powerfully. Permanently. You wake up every morning with good intentions. You tell yourself, today will be different. Today, you'll get things done. You'll finally start that thing you've been putting off. You'll stop scrolling, stop doubting, stop overthinking. And yet hours pass, and by the time your head hits the pillow, you feel that familiar knot in your stomach, that quiet disappointment that whispers, you did it again. You let another day slip away. You don't talk about it, but it eats at you. That gap between who you are and who you know you could be, it's getting wider, and no one else sees it. To the world, you're fine, maybe even successful. But inside, you know better. You know you're not where you want to be, not even close. The truth is, you're not lazy. You're exhausted from running in circles. You've tried the planners, the podcasts, the books. You've watched others talk about building their dream lives while you're still trying to survive yours. And the worst part? You blame yourself. You think maybe you're just not disciplined enough, not smart enough, not lucky enough. But that's not the real issue. The issue is that you're stuck in a habit loop that looks productive on the outside, but is actually keeping you stuck. You're constantly reacting instead of creating. You're busy but not progressing. You're always starting but never finishing, and it's killing your confidence from the inside out. You've got dreams, big ones. You think about them in the shower, on your lunch break, when no one's watching. But those dreams are trapped behind hesitation, behind perfectionism, behind a quiet voice that says, what if I fail? Or worse, what if I succeed and still feel empty? So you play small, you stay busy, you tell yourself next time. But let me ask you something. How many more next times are you willing to waste? The problem isn't that you don't know what you want. Deep down, you do. The problem is that you haven't committed to becoming the kind of person who gets it. You keep looking for the right time, the right plan, the right energy. But it's not about any of that. It's about making a decision, one that no one else can make for you. And until you break the pattern, you're in the invisible routine of delay, distraction, and quiet defeat. You'll keep living the same year over and over, just with a different calendar. This is the moment to name the problem. Not avoid it, not sugarcoat it. Just name it. You're stuck in a comfort zone that's slowly becoming a prison, and the door is wide open. But you've got to walk out of it. Not tomorrow, now. Let's cut through the noise. You're not stuck because you don't have enough time. You're not stuck because you lack talent, or resources, or support. You're stuck because of a single habit that's become so normal, you don't even question it anymore. It hides in your mornings, your choices, your language. It shows up when you say, "I'll do it later," or "I just don't feel ready," or "What's the point if I mess it up again?" It's the habit of negotiating with your potential, and you do it every single day. Think about it. You have a window of clarity, a brief moment when you know what you need to do. Maybe it's right after a motivational video. Maybe it hits you in the middle of a quiet night. You feel it. That spark. That deep knowing. I need to change. But instead of acting on it, you pause. You overthink. You wait for the perfect energy, the perfect mood, the perfect conditions. And in that hesitation, the moment dies. That's the root. Not laziness, not lack of ambition hesitation. A mental habit that tells your body, "We're not ready," even when your soul is screaming, "We've waited long enough." And the deeper issue? You've trained your brain to trust comfort more than progress, to trust what's familiar more than what's possible. Every time you choose comfort sleeping in, scrolling instead of showing up, saying yes to others and no to yourself, you reinforce a belief that change is optional, that your dreams can wait, that your potential is somehow negotiable. But here's the truth. Your potential doesn't live in your comfort zone. It lives in discomfort. It lives in showing up when it's inconvenient. It lives in doing the thing you promised yourself, especially when you don't feel like it. Most people think failure comes from doing the wrong thing. But real failure? It's not trying at all. It's living the same day on repeat, hoping for a different outcome. And the dangerous part? You can survive that way for years, decades even, until one day you look back and realize you didn't run out of time. You ran out of chances you never took. So why does this matter? Because the life you want isn't waiting on luck. It's waiting on your consistency. It's waiting on you to stop playing the victim of your schedule and start becoming the architect of your future. The root cause isn't out there. It's the internal permission you keep giving yourself to quit early, to delay, to stay small. Fixing your life starts with fixing that one reflex. The moment you say, "Not now." And here's the harsh truth, Avery, not now becomes a lifetime of what if. Here's where everything shifts. You don't need a life overhaul. You don't need a 5 a.m. miracle routine or a 10-step blueprint from some billionaire. What you need is to fix one thing, just one, and that thing is follow-through. That's it. The ability to do what you said you'd do, even after the mood you said it in has left. That's the gap between who you are and who you want to be. Not intelligence, not luck, not motivation. Follow through. Let's stop pretending it's more complicated than that. You already know what you should be doing. You've known it for months, maybe years. The gym, the business idea, the application, the tough conversation. It's not a mystery. But every time you delay it, skip it, talk yourself out of it, you're teaching your brain that your words don't matter. That your promises to yourself are flexible, optional, breakable, And that single shift in identity from someone who wants to someone who acts is where the entire game changes. You want real confidence? Earn it. Not from compliments, not from wins, but from keeping your own word. You want to feel powerful? Start small. Stay consistent. You want freedom? Trade in the fantasy of motivation for the discipline of showing up. Stop treating your goals like wishes. They're not magic. They're math. Effort in. Results out. Not always right away, but always eventually. So how do you fix follow-through? Strip away the noise. Don't wait to feel like it. Don't wait for clarity or confidence. Just decide what matters most today and finish it. Before the day pulls you in 10 directions. Before the doubts start whispering. Build that muscle. Not the big finish. Not the perfect start, just the follow-through. Whether it takes 10 minutes or 2 hours. Whether it's messy or clean. Just finish that one thing. And here's what happens next. Your identity starts to shift. Not from motivation, but from evidence. You start to see yourself as someone who follows through, who gets it done, who doesn't need to be perfect, just consistent. That identity shift is where real transformation begins. Not when the world notices, but when you do. You fix this one habit, and everything starts clicking into place. The clarity, the momentum, the breakthroughs. They're not waiting in the distance. They're hiding behind your next act of follow-through. Picture this. It's 5:42 a.m. It's still dark outside. The alarm goes off. You're groggy, warm under the covers, and every cell in your body begs you to stay just 10 more minutes. But then, something different happens. You swing your legs off the bed. You stand up. You do the thing you promised yourself last night. Not because you felt like it, but because you said you would. That moment, tiny, quiet, invisible to the world. That's the moment your life starts changing. Now imagine this happening not once, but daily. A person who used to snooze the alarm becomes someone who gets up before the sun. A person who used to write ideas in a notebook becomes someone who turns those ideas into action. A person who used to let self-doubt dictate their pace becomes someone who moves anyway imperfect, uncertain, but forward. These are not dramatic scenes in movies. They're microscopic choices. And they build something massive over time. Self-respect. Let me tell you about Jordan. Just a normal guy wife. 2 kids, a job he didn't love. For years, he told himself he'd start a side hustle. He watched all the videos, bought the books, even registered a business name. But he never followed through. He waited for the perfect time that never came. Until one day, he tried something different. He picked one task, just one, and committed to finishing it before work every single day, whether it took 10 minutes or 30. No excuses, no skipping, just follow through. At first, nothing changed. No big break, no applause. But 2 weeks in, something inside him shifted. He stopped needing motivation. He stopped searching for hacks. He started trusting himself. And 6 months later, that small habit became a full business. He left the job. He got his time back. He became the man he kept imagining, but never stepping into until he learned to follow through. Or take Maya. She used to call herself a perfectionist, but really, she was just scared of failing. Every project started with excitement and ended in abandonment. Until one day, she committed to finishing one thing ugly, raw, imperfect. She launched a rough version of her blog. No filters, no overthinking, just done. And for the first time, she saw progress. Real, messy, human progress. And that one finished blog post gave her more confidence than the 100 ideas she never published. You see, we wait for motivation to strike like lightning. But what really changes us is repetition, proof, identity. The image you carry of yourself doesn't shift when you dream. It shifts when you deliver. So picture this. What if you became the kind of person who always finishes what they start? Not because it's easy, but because it's who you are. Because every finish line you cross, no matter how small, sends a message to your future self. We don't run anymore. We rise. And if you can see that version of yourself just for a moment, then you already know what needs to happen next. Let's bring this home. I want you to pause right now and think about the version of you that's been waiting. The version that's been sitting in the back seat while life drives past, fast and loud. That version isn't lazy. That version is waiting for you to show up, to stop making excuses, to stop playing small, and to finally do the thing you keep promising yourself. No more, maybe tomorrow. No more, when I feel ready. You are ready. Not because it's comfortable, but because it's time. So, here's what I want you to do. Today, not next Monday, not the first of next month. Today, pick one thing, just one that you've been avoiding. Maybe it's a phone call, a workout, a draft, a conversation. I don't care how small it feels. I care that you finish it. And when that voice in your head shows up, the one that says, skip it, you're tired, you can do it later, I want you to smile and do it anyway, because that's the voice of your old self, the self that kept you stuck. And today, you're choosing differently. Listen, there will never be a perfect time. Your calendar will always be full. Your energy will never be endless. Life doesn't wait for your motivation to return. It waits for your decision. A quiet, bold, personal decision to stop tolerating your own delays. You don't need a dramatic breakthrough. You just need this moment to matter. You need to act like your life depends on it, because, in a way, it does. The life you dream about can't begin until you move. And that movement? It starts with the tiniest act of courage. So here's the challenge. No more broken promises to yourself. No more shrinking in the name of realism. No more half efforts or good intentions that die in the dark. Show up, not for anyone else, for you. Because the real win isn't crossing the big finish line. It's learning to keep your word to the person in the mirror. That's where self-trust is born. That's where freedom begins. That's where your new life unfolds. You might not feel ready. Do it anyway. You might feel scared. Move anyway. You might hear doubt screaming in your head. Let it scream and move anyway. Because courage isn't the absence of fear, it's the decision to walk forward with fear still in the room. If this podcast finds you at a breaking point, I want you to know this isn't the end. This is the pivot. The moment you shift from waiting to acting, from hoping to building, from dreaming to becoming. And all it takes is that first step. One promise, one finish, one follow-through. Today, no one else can make this decision for you. But if you're hearing this right now, it's not an accident. This is your moment. Take it. Close your eyes for a second. I want you to imagine something, not a fantasy, not some impossible version of your life, but a future that's actually waiting for you. A version of you who followed through, who stopped negotiating with their potential, who made the hard choices, the early mornings, the quiet sacrifices when no one was clapping, when no one noticed. That version of you, the one standing a few months, a year, maybe 2 years ahead, is real. They're not perfect, they're not fearless, but they're free, and they're proud of you. Because they remember this exact moment. This one, right here. They remember when you almost didn't do it. when quitting would have been easier, when the excuses sounded so good you almost believed them. They remember the day you could have hit snooze on your life again but didn't, and they're whispering something to you right now. You might not hear it clearly yet, but it's there. Thank you. Thank you for not giving up on us. That future version of you has a quiet confidence now, not because everything is perfect, but because they trust themselves. They know they'll show up. They know they can handle hard days. They know they don't need to be motivated to be committed. And that kind of inner strength, it changes everything. It changes how you walk into a room. It changes how you speak to yourself. It changes what you allow, what you accept, what you create. You'll still have off days. You'll still question yourself. That's part of it. But the difference now is you won't stop. You'll rest, not quit. You'll pivot, not surrender. Because you've tasted what it feels like to keep your word to yourself. And once you know that feeling, once you've built that kind of self-trust, you'll never go back to living small. So let this be your reminder. You don't need to be perfect to change your life. You just need to be consistent. You don't need to know every step. You just need to take the next one. You don't need to wait for someone to believe in you. You just need to stop doubting yourself long enough to start. If no one's told you lately, I'm proud of you. For listening this far. For staying with yourself. For still believing something better is possible. Even if you've failed 1,000 times before. You haven't missed your chance. You're not behind. You're exactly where the change begins. One habit. One act of courage. One day at a time. Now go. Walk toward that future version of you. They're waiting, and they're cheering you on.